Julio Jones blockbuster trade ideas here at Chat Sports. I'm going to be going through the top teams most linked to Julio, and then I'm going to give you some pretty crazy trade ideas here. So make sure you're not going anywhere. The reason why we're talking about this is because Julio was on Undisputed, at least, maybe he didn't know, but Shannon Sharpe called him up, said, hey, what's your future going on in Atlanta? He's like, man, I'm out of here. I'm not going to stick around. So he also then came out, apparently there's a report that he's requested to be traded. Trade's going to happen after June 1st. And here I am, sitting here being like, where could he potentially play this upcoming year? Luckily, there's a lot of odds out there breaking it down in terms of which team is the most likely to go out and trade for Julio. And luckily, we also just got some brand new odds here. The Patriots, they're at plus 200. The Titans at plus 200. So the top two teams, New England, Tennessee, Indianapolis at plus 600. Baltimore and the 49ers at plus 800. The Packers at plus 1,000. Raiders, Cardinals, both at 1,200. The Browns and Eagles at plus 2,000. So what you guys are going to see on today's show, I'm going to give you 10 blockbuster trade ideas, one each, from one of the top 10 teams that y'all just saw here. So if your team wasn't mentioned, it's all good. If you guys want to give me some of your trade ideas, I personally would not be too upset about it, because that's what Chat Sports is all about here. So seriously, what I want you guys to do right now is go down in the comments section and let me know, where do you think Julio Jones is going to play this upcoming season? And you know what? I'm actually going to make this the pinned comment on today's video. So for every person that comes across this bad boy on YouTube, I want you to see that very, very top comment on the video. And when you're getting hit with that YouTube ad break, scroll on down. Let me know, where will Julio Jones play in 2021? So the first trade coming up here is from the New England Patriots, because they were at plus 200 odds. I got Julio going to New England for a 2022 fourth-round pick. The Falcons get Stephon Gilmore and N'Keal Harry. Gilmore's been linked to plenty of trade rumors going on, and he's one of the best defensive players when fully healthy, and it fills a major need for them. Plus, N'Keal Harry, drafted in the first round in 2019. Maybe he just needs a new fun little place to go to. And the Falcons get a big receiver since they're losing one in Julio. Now, if you guys love the NFL, what I want you to do is hit that big red button that says subscribe and turn on those notifications, because once the Julio Jones blockbuster trade does happen, we're going to keep you updated here. We're going to cover it here on Chat Sports. So free videos around the biggest players in the league. Hit that big red button that says subscribe. Let's go to the second trade idea here. The Titans receive Julio Jones. The Falcons get Christian Fulton and a second-round pick. So right now, the Falcons are asking for at least a first-rounder. I actually don't really think it's going to happen. I think they're going to have to get a player and then a second-round pick. For the Titans, you had Christian Fulton, who you drafted out of LSU last year. They made a few moves in the draft and free agency as well to bring in a corner. But if Fulton, let's just say, isn't exactly what they're looking for, potentially you could ship him out and send him on over to Atlanta. Let's now go to the Indianapolis Colts trade idea number 3. The reason why this one's really interesting is because the Falcons receive a conditional second-round pick. Remember, the Colts ended up getting, Carson Wentz, and potentially, you're looking at this conditional pick here, right? If Carson Wentz ends up playing, you get that extra pick, okay? If it doesn't work out, then this could potentially be a first-round pick. So here's the trade idea that I threw together. So the Falcons, if they want an actual chance at getting this guy, and maybe go out and get a conditional first-round pick. So let me know, would you trade a first-round pick for Julio Jones? I want you to type Y for yes, or I want you to go down in the comments section and spam N for no. Obviously, he's one of the best in the biz. Obviously, when fully healthy, you're sitting here saying, okay, I personally believe when fully healthy, he's a top 5 receiver. However, last season, 9 games only, but he did average 85 yards per game. But Y for yes and for no, is Julio Jones worth a first-round pick? Something that's absolutely worth your time, downloading the Newsbreak app. Not only is it free, it's literally only going to take 5 seconds. So I don't care if you live in Las Vegas, I don't care if you live in Dallas, no matter what your city is, the Newsbreak app is going to be good for you. And if you like what we do here at Chat Sports, help us out. Let's show Newsbreak that you guys are watching and that we do a good job, because when you go ahead and you download the app, it helps us out a lot here. So if you could, please go to chatsports.com/newsbreak. I want to be able to continue to work with them. They're a fun company, and they're one of the biggest reasons why we can keep these shows free here. So go to chatsports.com/newsbreak, where you guys can get local news and weather, politics, food, pop culture, sports content, and extra Chat Sports videos. So once you download the app at chatsports.com/newsbreak, go in the search bar, look up your favorite team, and then give it a follow. Let's go to the fourth trade idea here on this Julio Jones blockbuster trade idea. Baltimore gets Julio. The Falcons get Jalen Ferguson, who is a good edge rusher. And when you look at some of the biggest needs for Atlanta, I see cornerback, I see secondary help, and also really being able to bolster getting after the quarterback. And then since they're giving up a good player, who I actually like Ferguson a lot, then it's 2 third-round picks. So Baltimore has 2/3. They get both of those up and Jalen Ferguson, and Baltimore gets a star receiver. Sorry, Sammy Watkins. Let's go to the fifth trade idea here. It's around the San Francisco 49ers, who have plus 800 odds. And if you're a 49ers fan, go check out the channel, youtube.com/49ers TV, to stay up to date on the silver and gold, on the golden, I guess, maroon. So you got the Falcons, D Ford, Scarlet. Thank you, Jeremy. D Ford, you get an edge rusher. When healthy, he's great. So this is a little bit of a risky move. Marcel Harris is the safety. He might not be the best safety on the Falcons team, but if he were to go there, him and Eric Harris, I think, would be able to battle it out. And then a 2022, that's supposed to say second-round pick. So definitely something to keep in mind. So out of the top 5 trades that y'all just saw, which one was the best? The Patriots, type NE. The Tennessee Titans, type TEN. Indianapolis Colts, IND. Ravens, BAL. Or the 49ers, SF. We got 5 more trades coming up, so I don't want you to go anywhere. But out of the 5 trades that I just showed you, which trade do you think is the best? Let's go to the 6th idea here, the Green Bay Packers. And if I knew Aaron Rodgers was going to stay in Green Bay, I actually think the Packers would be a lot higher on this list. And if I was Julio, it'd be a team that I would absolutely want to try to go to. Sure, maybe Atlanta wouldn't want to do that, keep you in the NFC, but I mean, it makes a lot of sense. For Atlanta, you get Rashawn Gary, defensive end, and he's had his ups and his downs, a former first-round pick, I believe 12 overall out of Michigan. He quite hasn't lived up to that hype. Maybe he can go to a new location, and he could ultimately get a little bit more reps, if you will, in Atlanta. The 7th trade idea coming up here is around the Las Vegas Raiders. They need to be able to get a number 1 wide receiver for Derek Carr. They don't quite have that. Damon Arnett was drafted in the first round last year. I personally see that being a bad fit. So for Atlanta, you get an extra corner, and let's face it, Arnett would be a starting caliber corner on Atlanta. You also get Carl Nassib, and some of the best Nassib years came in Tampa Bay. Also think he fits that defense a little bit better. And a 3rd-round pick. If you're a diehard Raider fan, go check out the Raiders Report, youtube.com/Raiders Report. Let's go to the next team on here. It's the Arizona Cardinals. DeAndre Hopkins tweeted out, like, hey, I'd be willing to restructure my contract to be able to make it work. I'd be interested. I mean, if I was Kyler Murray, you're telling me, I'd be like, wait a minute, I got to have A.J. Green, I got Julio Jones, and DeAndre Hopkins. Where do I sign up for that? The real issue is, like, I don't really know how logistical it is. So for the Falcons, though, they get Byron Murphy, who was a player that I really see being a sleeper, potential breakout player in terms of the cornerback position, and a 22 second-round pick. I guess I probably should have mentioned this earlier as well. All these trades that I ended up making are ones that I do personally believe are fair for both sides. Let's go to the Cleveland Browns. This one I believe is going to be probably the most eye-opening for a lot of people out there. What happens this? Like, I personally believe that the chemistry between OBJ and Baker Mayfield is maybe not all 100% there. So what happens if you could just send OBJ to Atlanta, and then you also get Curtis Weaver, an edge rusher, because Cleveland, they just went out and got Jadeveon Clowney. I don't know how many reps a guy like Weaver is going to get, who was drafted in the 5th round, I believe out of North Dakota State, if I remember correctly. But you just swap Julio and OBJ, and you throw in an edge rusher. I'm curious what a lot of Brown fans think, and if you are a diehard Browns fan, go subscribe, youtube.com/Browns Report. So out of Julio and OBJ, who's the better receiver? And I want you to think about this in terms of the way this video is being constructed, in terms of who's the better receiver right now, okay? And maybe even who's going to be the better receiver the next 3 years, because that's how many years left is on Julio's contract. So if you're sitting there saying Jones, I want you to type 11. If you think it's Odell Beckham Jr., I want you to type number 13. The last trade idea here on this Julio Jones blockbuster trade video, it's with the Philadelphia Eagles, and if you didn't catch on already, the odds I showed you a little bit earlier on, that's the order I made this video in. If you're a diehard Eagles fan, go check out a lot of our our Eagles videos at youtube.com/Eagles now. But I got Philly getting Julio. The Falcons, they get Josh Sweat, a good young edge rusher drafted in the 5th round. I actually think he should probably get more playing time if I'm being real with you, but he's done a great job filling in his role in Philadelphia. The Falcons, they get a 2022 second-round pick. So out of the 5 last trades that I just showed you, which one's your favorite? The most interesting one is definitely the Browns, right? Swapping OBJ and Julio Jones, dude. That would create headlines instantaneous. But if the Packers want to keep a guy like Aaron Rodgers happy, maybe they go ahead and bring in Julio. Bottom line is this: we're an interactive YouTube channel, so let me know down in the comments. Type GB for the Packers, LV for the Raiders, ARI for the Cardinals, CLE for the Browns, or PHI for the Philadelphia Eagles.